Liam Gillick stated, "Contemporary art does not account for that which is taking place." In order to respond to this statement, we must first explore ways of interpreting it. Let's begin with contemporary art. The term contemporary art refers to art produced at that present period of time, including and developing itself from postmodern art, which itself is a descendant to modern art. Some artists attempt to deny that they are a part of something that is recognized and defined by others. This being quite frustrating because contemporary art does not describe the practice, but is a generalization of being in the context, meaning that all artists producing work today are producing contemporary art, and consequently, all artists producing work today are classified as being contemporary artists. This takes us back to Gillick's statement of contemporary art does not account for that which is taking place. From my perspective, this reads as saying that contemporary art does not include everyday things, that not everything is art, and in my opinion, Gillick is wrong in saying this. Art is typically defined as being the expression or communication of human imagination and creativity in a visual form. With that being said, the idea of art goes against what Gillick has to say right from the beginning. Thomas Hirschhorn, a Swiss artist best known for his room-sized assortments of low-grade materials such as tin foil, cardboard, and found objects. In other words, rubbish. His exhibition, Too Much Much, in December 2010, is an observation on the hostility of contemporary society and the explosion of consumables produced in our shopping-driven world. It interprets this phenomenon of late capitalist consumerism. Thomas Hirschhorn expresses his artistic intentions as follows: "I make poor art, but not art povera. I don't make installations, I make sculptures. Energy yes, quality no. I don't want to make political art, but I want to make my work political." This particular sculpture uses the repetitive motif of the beverage can, for the purposes of it being a highly recognized universal form, and the fact that it is used as a basic product of creativity in all cultures. The artist recuperates the social reality of mass production and consumption in a positive way through a creative act. The experience he creates in this respect both captivating, confrontational, and an invitation for dialogue and discussion. This is contemporary art accounting for everything that is taking place right now. Another example of accounting for what is happening now through contemporary art is He Yun Chang's Self and Self A Beginning. He Yun Chang's Self and Self A Beginning 2013 is an oil-on-canvas painting of himself covered in yellow paint from a previous performance art. One large image of himself in the forefront and multiple duplicates of himself in the background. The sheer size of the canvas, 3.2 meters by 2.32 meters, conveys a sense of empowerment and strength that is juxtaposed by the facial expressions of Yun Chang, pained and struggling, which again is contrasted by the use of the color yellow, which in Chinese culture stands for neutrality, good luck, and heroism. From a narrative point of view, this image, when first examined, tells the story of overcoming some form of pain and difficulty to get to that point where he is now, where he appears to be putting on his shoe, ready to get up and get going, connecting with the principle of globalization that everyone is in this competitive race through life, battling with his or her own struggles, pushing through and coming out on top in the end, encompassing the idea that this is what everyone goes through every day. Jin Shang's Untitled Animals Attack Humans 2013. This video at first glance appears to be shapes and figures moving around. It is only when you start paying attention and closely you start to figure out that these little blurred images are actually animals attacking humans. This chaotic sequence of animals attacking humans is so gruesome and powerful on their own, but once this extended idea of censoring the images so that you're almost unable to tell what is going on, it adds up to the strength of this metaphoric imagery. This awareness of censorship within the video draws us back to the censorship that the Chinese are faced with, strongly emphasizing that the amount of vicious and gruesome attacks and/or stories socially and politically recognized within China, and considerably larger than what anyone outside China would have thought. In the 1970s, China, being a communist country, recognized people for the groups that they belonged to, from commune or work groups to political faction. This defined people's individual identities. If there was anyone that resisted against this group that they were confined to, they were instantly seen as an enemy or belonging to an enemy group, and were ostracized or put to death. This video is a very strong reminder of that. Jin Shan has used art to create a work that symbolizes the problems that people are faced with every day in a high-impacting manner. Then we have Helmut Newton and his photography, more specifically this ad campaign for a men's watch. The image itself raises a lot of questions in regard to feminism. The man is standing over her, his identity masked, producing this feeling of power, but it is her near emotionless face, her distraction towards the book away from him, and the fact that she is touching herself suggests that she is controlling the situation. Just this fact that there is no significant differentiation of who is in control answers this question of is feminism black and white? Within this photograph, the answer we believe would be no. It would, however, be subject to who is viewing the image and in what context. This idea of feminism is one that is still highly discussed within society today, within all cultures, and this image is still relevant today. And finally, we have Ai Weiwei's music video Dumbass. Says this video is a way of venting the trauma he experienced while held in the detention by the state. He said that this country was one of the crazy menace and inhumane conditions, and the video showed inaccurate recreation of the cell where he was held, right down to its wallpaper. He had nothing to do while he was there but memorize every detail. It was very difficult to create the music video, going back to that situation. But in the end, it helped him overcome the trauma. Police had told him, he said, "You asked for your freedom, but we will make you pay with your life." This is sadly something that is still very highly recognized within Chinese culture today. In conclusion, with these 5 supporting artworks, Liam Gillick is incorrect in his statement with contemporary art does not account for that which is taking place.